Today marks 13 days in a row of hitting 200 kilos. For a single, which is basically 94% of my 1 rep max, which is currently standing at 212 and a half. 94%. How long can you be redlining your body for is the first idea in my head right now. And the second idea is maybe that max is not so much my max. Maybe this percentage is much lower. Maybe it's 90%. Regardless, it's not going to be 80%. So I'm not that strong. So how many days in a row can you be hitting 90% plus of your 1 rep max before you burn out? Before the body gives out, before all of that happens. So on the first day, I introduced some power training or jumping, and I've been feeling really, really good. So it sparks all of the, spark plugs. I get up and about, get to the bar, feel good, and I can exhibit near maximum weights. Yesterday was the hardest day of all. Yesterday was day 12. Felt slow, had no pop. Felt like half the bloody spark plugs were not even igniting. Hit 200 and I felt that one. The bar slowed down brutally. And when you're thinking about effort, when you're thinking about RP, when you're thinking about, how close you are to a maximum lift, all you really got to do is look at the speed. I don't think too many people are moving 90+% weight, and they're pacing themselves. When you're lifting near maximum weight, you're putting everything into the bar. You want to get this thing up as soon as possible because you can't be doing tempo squats with 95% of your freaking max. So yesterday was hard, felt it. Today I've woken up and I'm like, okay, let's get it going. I start hopping, I start jumping, start warming up, and I'm like, I still feel like I'm not getting up high in the air. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel explosive. I don't feel like I can jump. And so, it could be all mental, it could be all, psychology and all of that stuff, but I felt like I wasn't jumping high. I felt like I was jumping higher before. And so I started getting worried about today as well. Didn't have that pop in me. Got to the bar, started moving. This is hard, right? But like in the back of my mind, I'm like, how is it feeling compared to yesterday? It felt better. It felt better all throughout, and even the 200 felt better. So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, okay, so you're maxing this thing up pretty good. How many days can your body sustain? Nothing hurts. So I just want to reiterate that. Like, usually when my body starts to break down, when I start to kind of feel worn out, I start to get hip discomfort, namely right-sided hip pain, which, I've spoken about this, ad nauseum, man. Is it the TFL? Is it the adductors? Is it freaking whatever? I feel great. I just don't feel very strong and explosive. Now, a lot of this stuff is, I know if today I went to the gym, that 200 would have moved much, much better. The conditions at home are such that the bar is really stiff. The weights are all more than 20 kilos. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. And I'm squatting on concrete. So why does all that matter? Well, number one, the weight's the weight, right? It has been the same for all the time. I'm training at home, so there's no change in that. But the bar and the concrete have a lot to say about it because in the gym there's a wooden platform which, no matter how you look at it, gives a little bit, right? It's kind of like a basketball court. For those of you who played basketball, when you play outside on a concrete court, you feel the joints, you feel the insult. It's not as fun as playing on a concrete court versus a proper wooden court, indoor court. It's a big difference. So when you're squatting on concrete with a stiff bar, basically all the absorption your body's taking. So there is no bounce. There is nothing to kind of brace yourself. So a lot of the time, when you're doing a near maximum weight in the gym, like on a platform in a whippy bar, you can go down, and the hardest part of the lift, you kind of bounce out of it. Like, the weights get you up, and the floor even kind of breathes a little bit. The shoes, everything breathes. But when you're squatting on concrete with a stiff bar, you're literally getting guillotined, you're getting stapled to the floor, and then you have to unstaple yourself from the floor. So it's harder. I didn't want to go to the gym and take the easier road out. I wasn't feeling it anyway. I don't want to, go to the gym most days nowadays, but today it kind of felt all right. Like, it felt better than yesterday, but I'm still not feeling extra explosive. Clearly it's fatigue, and this might not be very popular, but I don't think it's related to all the 200 kilos that I've done in the last 12, 13 days. I think what's really fatiguing me is all the other stuff that I'm doing alongside that. When you do 600-700 freaking bodyweight squats, it's a lot of work, man. And on top of that, when you're doing these jumps are not done slowly. They're doing, you do them as fast as possible. You want to get air, right? As high as possible. So these three things are taxing me. It's obvious. I'm getting power training in. I'm getting strength training in. So I'm doing 1 rep maxes, on the power clean, on the power jumps, the first part of the training sessions. Then I'm doing strength portion, and I'm pushing that all the way to the max. So that's proper strength training. And on the back end, which a lot of the time you guys don't see, I'm doing hypertrophy training, or let's say endurance training, muscular endurance training. So I'm doing concurrently multiple different qualities at the same time. And, whether you like Western periodization or not, this is hard to do. This is why Western periodization likes to break it up into different blocks. This is not the only type of periodization I might say here. There's many different types, but for the most part, the viewers that are watching this video are probably thinking, man, you got to split this into blocks. Well, if you listen to Louis Simmons, he will say to you that this stuff, the Western periodization, was outdated back in the 70s. This idea of have a hypertrophy phase, have a strength phase, have a peaking phase, have a deload, and repeat with adjusted numbers. I've tried that in the past, and that was basically the most boring shit I've ever done. There's just no excitement coming to a training session. There's nothing left to wonder about. There's nothing. It's literally like coming in, hitting the clock, and doing the prescribed numbers. I don't like that. I like the idea of coming in and seeing what the body has to offer, and then adjusting on the fly. And then also training concurrent periodization, where you're doing multiple qualities at the same time. Now, concurrent periodization, as I understand it, doesn't necessarily need to be done on the same day. You can have Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and you have 3 different qualities across, 1 week rather than 1 day. Anyway, a lot of that stuff comes from me playing sports. It's very, very hard for you to be doing block periodization while in season of basketball or soccer or football or whatever. It's very, very difficult to do that. So this type of concurrent periodization is better catered to athletes that are actually playing. Not that I'm playing, but that's kind of how this is my background, and this is what I love to think about, So if you don't get LeBron to squat or do anything, any sort of stuff throughout the season, that's a long period of time of not training. So rather than having block periodization in the season, you're doing concurrent periodization, where you train all of these things at the same time, every training session type thing. Anyway, this is the periodization I love. This is what excites me. This is who I am and what this channel is about. I hear what you guys have to say. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to take 2 days off, 3 days off, 5 days off, all that sort of stuff. If I did a lot of those things, the fire for training wouldn't be the same. You need to just understand that the very nature of this channel is what feeds the channel. If I started chasing numbers, if I started chasing things that don't excite me, this channel wouldn't exist. I'd stop training. And this is why I do what I do, because this is exactly what gets me excited to train. It's not just a physical expression, it's a mental, it's an intellectual. It's a project, it's a thing that I'm trying to sort out, and it gets me excited. But if I start doing block periodization, the very thing which makes me freaking yawn, to be honest, it just doesn't make training exciting to me. Now, that is me, right? That is me, and I've said this multiple times. We all need to find our way in life. You need to find what makes you tick, and you gotta put the blinders on, and you got to stop listening to people and just do what needs to be done for you, by you. If you're constantly reacting to the environment will grind your ass down into a fine dust, and you will stop. You will cease to exist. You will stop doing everything. This is why there's a lot of unhappiness in the world, because everyone's listening to everyone on the sidelines, and who do you listen to? There's 1,001 people out there, 1,001 different pieces of advice. Who do you listen to? If you start listening to one, you might as well listen to all of them. And then eventually you end up grinding to a halt. That doesn't mean you completely stop hearing people. You're hearing people, you're assessing, you're learning constantly. But deep down, you have to superimpose all of that information onto your belief system, onto who you are, what you want to do, and then you go from there. Because that is the ultimate thing, man. That is the thing that drives it. Screw motivation or inspiration, all this sort of shit. What do you want to do? What excites you to do? Do it. And this is what excites me to do it, even though, let's say, it is the most ineffective way to train. Whatever. That doesn't faze me, man. What I like to do is what I like to do, and this is what it is. And I want to squat 30 days in a row and 200 kilos. Makes me happy. Gives me this intellectual, gives this psychological good feeling. I've fought a mountain, I've battled a mountain. I'm mentally durable, I'm mentally tough, I can withstand this sort of stuff. Discipline, consistency, all of these things feed me, feed my spirit. That's what makes me happy, man. As crazy as that might sound to you, man, what makes me happy? No, I'm not looking forward to going into my meet and setting the world record. No, I'm not chasing views or likes or dislikes and all that crap. I could not give a shit about any of those things. This is my journey. This is me sharing my journey with the community out there. There's a lot of you guys that support. There's a lot of guys that offer opinions. That's all fine. But I just want to explain to you where I'm coming from. I'm not very worried about people calling me dumb. This is dumb. That's dumb. You're an idiot. You're doing this for this, that, the other. Nobody does anything for 1,200 days in a row if they don't like it. Nobody. You won't find too many people out there doing something they hate every single day. Not only do it, but talk about it on video, after the video. You know, so you can bet your bottom dollar that this is a little fun project for me, and I'm always constantly reminding myself, do what you want to do. And a lot of you guys said to me, Ivan, how come there's no sponsors? Ivan, how come there's no advertisements on the thing about this? But none of this stuff phases me, man. I've had offers, people come to me, and it always rubs me up the wrong way because their principles, their ideas, their mottos don't align with me. Simple as that. And I don't want to make this a job. This is my little experiment, and I wanted to keep it mine, and that's the way it is. So I don't even allow the message, the nature of the video to go too far away from my actual thoughts and what I want the videos to be. Call me unique, call me crazy, call me stupid. Ivan, you're leaving so many kilos on the bar. Ivan, you're leaving so many dollars on the table. Ivan, you should do this. Ivan, you should do that. You just post on TikTok, post on Instagram, post on this guy or that guy. Make a third, fourth, fifth channel, spread it out, collab. Why don't you call this guy? None of that shit makes me excited as simply coming in, squatting to the beat that I want to squat to. It is as simple as that. A lot of you guys that have watched this channel for a long time, you will understand where I'm coming from. Yes, I'm unique. I don't give a shit about money. I don't give a shit about all these experts out there that know exactly what needs to happen. The way I look at it, man, we are all going straight into the grave in X amount of time, and no one gives a shit whether you're setting world records or not. Who are the people that are setting world records in powerlifting? And who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about any of those guys? You set the world record, you've pulled 500 off the floor. Fantastic. What do you want? You want a handshake? What do you want from me, man? The hell do you want from me? No one gives a shit. We're not fighting for a lot of money here. This is not an NBA contract that's going to go 5 years, 250 million. This is shit, man. This is shit. The very person that sets the world record tomorrow is going to have to go sell some freaking shit products like a protein Powerade, a protein shake, which he doesn't even freaking believe, so he can get paid so he can feed his kids. This is the world record holder right now. Will need to eventually sell products to the masses and lie through his teeth to say that this is the shit that made him get there. That's my point, man. The point is, none of this shit matters. Whether you're a freaking #1 powerlifter or you're a scrubber like me somewhere in the backwaters of South Australia, no one gives a shit. So having that said, fuck it, man. Do whatever you want to do. And this is the thing I'm trying to portray. It doesn't matter, man. If you want to squat with the bar resting on top of your freaking forehead, do it, man. If that shit gets you hard, do it. Do it. Oh, no, but this world record holder trainer, the person, with the pink moustache said, you need to do this. Good for him, man. Good for him. I want to put that bar square on top of my head, and I want to squat that shit. Oh, the sponsors won't like that. Fuck the sponsors. I don't give a shit about any of your products. I don't give a shit about any of the other crap. This is a bloke that wants to squat the way he's talking about it. Even if he makes mistakes, that's his shit. Don't care. I'm a free spirit floating through the sky. That's me. I don't give a crap about any of this external stimuli. What a rant, but it gets me triggered when people start pulling stats left, right, and center. When people start talking about, oh, look, man, there's a research paper by Yale University. There's a research paper by Harvard University. This guy has a 14-inch penis and he knows everything about powerlifting. You have to listen to him. I could give a fuck about him and his papers. I ain't setting world records. Even if I set world records, no one gives a shit. Just relax. Do your thing. Live your life. We're all going beeline straight to the grave in 30, 50, 60, 70 years. Like someone gives a shit. No one gives a shit, bro. No one gives a shit. But we get amongst it into all this stuff. Like, I'm going to go at him. I'm going to tell him he's a dumb ass. He's a dumbass for doing what he's doing. I'm going to tell him that he could have put 2.5 kilos extra this week. Ivan, put another kilo on the bar tomorrow. In 1 year, you're going to have 365 kilos on the bar extra. Bruh. What are we doing, man? Do whatever the fuck you want to do, man. Do whatever the hell you want to do. And if you're 18 years old listening to this shit, you might think to yourself, red flags everywhere. Oh my God, anxiety. Once you get to mid-30s, some people get to mid-40s, you truly realize that no one gives a fuck. And when you truly realize that, you let go of all that anxiety and you do the shit that you want to do. Like putting 1,200 freaking episodes of Squat Every Day on the channel and talking about this shit and getting abused by all the experts out there. And, blah, 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 blah. All this all the experts come out of the woodwork saying that this is what's going on. You've let that breath out. You feel comfortable about your existence. You know exactly where this is all heading, this whole life. And you feel good. You make mistakes. You do things suboptimally. And it's a fucking beautiful thing. I love suboptimal shit. I love it. It is beautiful, mate. Beautiful. Rubs people up the wrong way. And is the very expression of freedom. Optimal. What a toxic fucking word. This isn't optimal, Ivan. Like I give a flying fuck about what optimal is. Anyway. Tomorrow's going to be day 14. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump, I'm going to squat, and I'm going to do some bodyweight squats. Cannot freaking wait. Appreciate all of you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.